Hey, what's going on everyone? And as I'm sure you guys can already tell by the title because you clicked on this video, today we're going to be taking a look at the death that occurred in my hardcore Hypixel Skyblock series yesterday. Now, this video is going to be kind of like split into two parts. The first half of this video would just be taking a more in-depth analysis look at the death that happened and also showing some footage that I did not include in the actual episode yesterday. And then the second half will be talking about the future of the series and the profile itself. So basically, to start us off here, as you can see, here's the death itself. We're just gonna, go back and review it so you guys can get some context for it. So at first, everything was going super well for me with this whole ornate zombie sword trial. Like, if this guy hadn't been hitting it, I think I would have been fine. Every time I was dropping like 100 or 200 HP on the server, I was healing it right back up with the ornate zombie sword. The mana flux was doing a lot more than I thought it was doing. Everything was good. Then as you can see, this guy starts hitting the Tarantula Broodfather and it starts running all over the place. I get it back in control for a second. It's good. Then he comes back and I think he hit it with an AOTE or something. I don't know. This is a whole mess. And then, yeah, this is the part where it goes bad. I get stuck in the web here, so now I'm not being able to get hits on him, which is usually how I'd be healing up because I'd be getting lifesteal and stuff, and then obviously right there I die. And yeah, I'll be honest, dude, as soon as I typed in /death count and saw the 1 right there, I think I kind of started to have a panic attack. I cut out a lot of like these long silences from the video, but I was sitting there for a while. I actually could not believe that had just happened because I had stayed up extra late that night because I just needed a couple more minutes of footage to complete that episode and get it out for you guys. And well, we all know how that ended up happening. But the weirdest thing to me is in chat here, you can literally see that the saving grace activates, you have been revived safely, and then I die after that. So I actually want to rewind back a little bit in the footage here and see if I can find like the exact moment where it happens to see if maybe we can figure out the issue with the saving grace and why this bug keeps happening. So here I'm about to die any second now, I think. So you can see I'm stuck in web again. Okay, and boom, this is where it happens. So you can see right in chat there, once again, Saving Grace has activated. I get teleported back to the beginning of the Spider's Den, though, which is what happens when you die. And you can see in chat I did die now. So I think the problem with the Saving Grace is the way they have it working is it's supposed to teleport you back to your island as soon as it detects you're on low health. But I think if you're fighting a mob that does a lot of damage or you fall into the void or something, or maybe if your like ping isn't really low, then before it can teleport you back safely to your island, you just die, get the death, and then you'll see here, then it teleports you back to your island because it's a little bit delayed. I think it would make more sense if it worked like a Remnant of the Eye, where once it notices that you're about to die, you get healed all the way back up to full health and you're invincible for a couple seconds, and then it teleports you back to your island. That way, they can kind of ensure that the death doesn't happen and unfortunate situations like this don't occur. All right, and the next bit I want to show you guys here now is kind of like some behind the scenes footage for my death on the hardcore profile. So like I mentioned earlier, this was kind of like a spur of the moment decision to test out this ornate zombie sword for the end of the episode. It was not something that was planned out very well, which probably should have been a sign to me that I shouldn't have been doing it, because that's kind of how deaths in hardcore happen to begin with. But I did it because I really had been on a good schedule with uploading the hardcore series every other day, and I wanted to keep that schedule. And I just needed a couple more minutes. I'm like, you know what, this can't be really that dangerous. We beat a tier 4 boss before. But then this was kind of one of the moments where I started to reconsider it. As you can see, I'm taking on Tarantula Beast here, which is not even the hardest mini boss, and it gets me down to 256 hearts. So right there, I'm kind of starting to reconsider it, but then I go back in my mind. I'm like, no, I need to get this. I need this footage. And you can see again, I'm still going for it. Like, I really want to get this footage. I'm trying to get the XP to spawn this thing in. I go down to 355 health again. I go fight it. Like, I was doing some crazy stuff that night that I would not normally do in my hardcore profile. I was just like determined to get an episode out. So then the next thing I want to go ahead and show off here was originally I was actually in a different Spider's Den lobby and I was unnicked, and there was like a mob of 3 people who you'll see right now are shooting from behind me, and I'll turn around and show you them in a second in the footage. Yeah, there we go. So you can see 3 people are all following me around and helping me, which, again, I was super annoyed about this because the whole point of this clip was to test the ornate zombie sword. I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the heck, man? This is ruining my clip right now. I need to test this by myself. Otherwise, it'll kind of be a pointless clip. So then I go behind here. I start trying to hide. Of course, this guy finds me. It's like, okay, this is totally over. Now I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, how do I get out of this situation? I guess I'm just going to have to nick myself and switch lobbies, because otherwise, these guys are just going to keep helping me because they keep following me. So yeah, you can see the footage for that ends there. In hindsight, though, look at what these guys are equipped with. This guy's in full Tarantula armor with a Scorpion foil. This guy looks like full Tarantula armor with a Recluse Fang. And this guy looks like full Strong armor with, I can't see his weapon. But I probably wouldn't have died if I had stayed in this lobby. I wouldn't have been able to get an accurate test of the ornate zombie sword either. but these guys probably would have done a better job about killing the tier 4 tarantula boss and not griefing me as opposed to whoever the other guy was in the clip after this where, well, I ended up dying. Anyway, though, that kind of leads me into the next part of the video here where I want to talk about the future of this series and the profile. So basically, as soon as I uploaded that episode last night, you guys just flooded the comment section with stuff like this. Don't end the series. We all know it was a glitch. Shouldn't be held against you. I think the comment that sums up my viewpoint on the whole ordeal the best is this guy, Cabinet Boy here, who said, "Plus, I'm sure most of your viewers like that you are supposed to grind for everything you need. You not dying is less important." Now, I'm sure this is totally subjective and it depends on the viewer, but I agree with this as well. I always kind of thought that not dying had originally been like the biggest part of the series, but once we got Saving Graces and Remnants of the Eyes, it kind of became like a secondary or even like a third rule to the series. I kind of thought the no AH, no Bazaar, no trading player rules became like the main rule and essence of the series to me. Because when you have to grind and unlock everything yourself, it makes the progression you go through much, much different. And I kind of just felt like I was playing the game like nobody else on the server ever had before, which is what made the content interesting. But obviously, I'm only part of the equation when it comes to this series. Another large part of it is what's entertaining and interesting for you guys, the viewers, to watch. So that's why I'm going to pose to you guys a couple different ideas I had for how to continue the series, and I'll be making a poll on my community tab on YouTube where you guys can actually vote for which option you would most like to see. So I'm going to be a bit biased here and start with the option that I like the best and the one that I think would make for the best series going forward. So what I would like to do is basically just continue the series, but start it as a new season. So season 2, episode 1 would be the next episode we do in the channel. But in order to make it feel like a proper season 2, I think it'd be cool to have a couple rule changes in there. Now, again, I definitely do not want to change the no trading, no auction house, or no bazaar rules. I feel like that is the core of the series, and those are the most important rules to keep. And honestly, if we're going to keep it hardcore, I also want to keep the no dying rule, because otherwise it just doesn't feel like hardcore. But one rule I would actually like to add into the series is no saving graces. Because for one, I always felt like it was kind of a cheap way out to use saving graces, since if they weren't glitched, I basically would never be able to die. And two, I think it'll add a lot more intensity to the series because we'll have to be very, very careful about what we do. Otherwise, we actually will risk a final death. I'd also like to add some other rule changes into the series, but I haven't thought of any so far. So if you guys have some ideas for ones that you think would be interesting to add, make sure to let me know in the comment section and your idea might get added. Anyway, the second option would be to basically just continue this profile as a normal Skyblock profile now. So essentially just end the hardcore aspect of it and we'll start allowing deaths, we'll start allowing the auction house, we'll start allowing the bazaar, all of that. Obviously, I'm personally not really a huge fan of this option because I've grown to love the grindy style of no auction house, no bazaar, but if it's what you guys wanted to see, I'd of course be willing to do it. And yeah, those are basically the only two reasonable options I was able to come up with. Last thing I want to say is that I just really appreciated all the support you guys showed me on the video. I woke up in the morning to 100+ Discord notifications of people saying they love the series, they want me to continue it, or I'm so sorry that you died, I feel awful for you, which that meant a lot to me. I put a lot of time and effort into this series and this profile to try and make the best content possible for you guys, so it feels pretty good to see that you guys seem to be enjoying it a lot and my hard work is paying off. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say, so head on over to my community tab and cast your vote for what you think we should do with the future of the series. This poll is pretty much going to determine what the future of my channel is, so it's very, very important. So yeah, go vote, and I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Peace.